Feaster.
What's Feaster?
Fake Easter.
Oh, I ain't
We
never heard of that. Is that something that's made up?
That's something I made up for my family. We couldn't get together last Sunday, the week before,
Okay.
because one of my daughters had the Rona. So we
Okay.
all got together yesterday, and we have decided that since they put all the Easter candy on sale the day after, that from now on, we're going to move Easter back a week so we can take advantage of the sales, and we're going to do Feaster every year now.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you guys, have made up your own holiday. So that's a good thing. And you know how your family is about making sure you get these Easter baskets, in and stuff like that. So I'm glad that, everything went okay and you are not in trouble this year. So today we got a special guest. So we got Will Epstein from the Shake Back Sports Show on with us today. Super excited to have Will. And I'm just going to, put it out there before we really get into stuff. He's a Michigan fan.
That's right.
And I'm not.
Right. And he knows I'm not either. So I had a chance to do
this
his
right
show last
here
week.
is a national championship football. Just in case, autographed by the players. I'm just saying.
And
this is my Michael Hall autograph photo. I'm sure you remember this moment in Michigan.
Oh, yeah. The double birds.
Just saying, I'm not. There's my lady lair.
There's a flag.
Buckeye zone.
Show the proud flag, Kate, behind you right there to your right.
I feel like I've been set up.
No, you haven't been set up. We're very happy to have you. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you, though?
All right. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah, I had you on my show last week. It was a blast, so I appreciate the invitation. Nice to meet you, Cleveland Kate. Although you are rubbing it in on our first impression, that probably is the same thing that I would do. So yeah, I am the host of the Shake Back Sports Show on the BGC Sports Network out of Arlington, Texas. I also have the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show that airs. Actually, both shows are on the 12s and 6s all around the clock, Monday through Sunday. For the baseball show, Natalie Turk, your guys' homegirl. She regularly contributes with me on there. And we also have the Shake Back Sports Show OT, which is basically the podcast. And that is what Rachel appeared on last week, is basically that we do that when live streaming, and then it goes immediately to all of the podcasting platforms.
Very nice.
Yeah, so he's all up on that technology, like I'm not. So, hats off to him. I'm not there yet, but, he's going to show me everything that he knows. And then one day we'll be able to turn what we do in the podcast and all that other stuff. So you can listen to it in perpetuity besides listen to it on the WOVU app, which we always tell people to download. You can always listen to us on WOVU.org. And then you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. And we are streaming on StreamYard as well. So you can talk to us, ask us any questions that you have on the All Sports, All Plays Network. So, how was your weekend, Will? How was your weekend? You do anything fun? Do anything special?
I actually got on the grill yesterday and grilled, put some ribs out there. I actually did some garlic parmesan boneless chicken thighs that were the bomb. And other than that, just kind of relaxed, chilled out most of the weekend, and that was pretty much it. Watched a little bit of the Masters, and just kind of vegged out.
You did?
We could talk grilling for the whole hour, just you and I. I smoked an 18-pound brisket on Saturday. That's what we ate Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, I did.
We got a
smoker. Not one of those girly pellet cheap things that the Gen Xers use. I got a charcoal chimney and we get it up.
Yeah.
Get it going.
Hey, what's wrong with Generation Xers?
Just about everything, Rachel. I'll put my ribs up against yours any day, though. Now in Texas, do you do dry rub? Do you sauce them up, or how do you do your ribs?
Or see all of the above.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually have a wet rub.
Okay.
What's a wet rub?
Don't bother. We ain't got an hour to explain barbecuing to Rachel.
You got to come to Dallas and let me. Because we also have a catering biz down here as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't sauce my ribs, my meat, anything that I'm cooking. My husband and I are doing. It tastes just fine by itself. You don't need to put nothing on it because we handled that when we were cooking it. But people ask us all the time why we don't do competitions. And from what I've seen from the shows, like when my ribs are done, I like to be able to twist the bones and pull them all right out like that. I don't have time to spend an hour tugging meat off a bone. And the competition is like, I need some pull. I don't need no pull. If that rack is right, I can pull all them bones out and cut them into 3 a piece and make a little riblet sandwich. I don't have to do any more work than that. So we don't do competition, but we do cook a lot of meat in the summertime for our friends and for parties and stuff.
Yeah.
So next time I'm out that way, I may stop by and get a feel for what you got going on.
Definitely.
Well, we did get a chance to go to the Association of Women in Sports. And Women in Sports Media, which is awesome. And they were supposed to have their national convention in Dallas, but it's been canceled now for 2 years in a row. So I don't know if they're going to abandon Dallas. So I was going to say, Willie, we would get out there and definitely hit you up. Now I got to ask y'all before we get into sports talk, spare ribs or baby back ribs? Because I'm a spare ribs girl. Y'all doing baby backs or spare ribs?
Baby backs on the grill. If I'm gonna do the big fat pork spare ribs, I'm braising those in the oven and cooking them that way. But I'll do baby backs on the grill.
And I really don't have a preference. It's just really up to what the customer wants. Now, as far as which one is easier or tasting better taste, as far as cooking or preparing, I think the baby backs are a little bit more efficient. But the spare ribs, man, you got to cook those suckers for a minute. So
that's what I grew up on, was spare ribs.
Yeah.
So I never really ate baby back ribs until I go to a restaurant. And so I don't get restaurant ribs because I grew up on spares. And that's what I like. So the only restaurant ribs I like is Famous Dave's. They have really good spare ribs. But other than that, I don't really eat restaurant ribs. So
mine are better.
Can I get some? I got some of your bacon, which I absolutely tore up.
Yeah, we smoke our own bacon too. I haven't bought
it was
bacon at a
delicious.
store in 6 years.
Wow,
it was delicious.
We'll get a couple pork bellies and smoke our own, slice them up. We're good to go. We make our own sausage. We do brats and chorizo and andouille and whatnot. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
in Ohio, huh? Andouille.
Yeah, we get down in Ohio, man.
Okay.
We get down here. It ain't just y'all who doing the grilling and all that other stuff.
Right. Well, I do deep fried catfish as well. Oh man.
Ooh, nice.
I got like 12 different flavors of wings. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into
we had to find some common ground because I know you and I are going to about to butt heads on the sports side of things. So I'm glad we at least found some common ground to get us started.
Food is good.
Well, we never know. But one of the things I did tell Welly, we want to hit a little bit of our local right quick. And so we're going to get into it right now. Cleveland Indians right now, they are on a hot streak, even though, they're playing against the Detroit Tigers, one of the worst, teams in baseball. Willie, if you didn't get a chance to, check them out, Cleveland K, what are your thoughts about, what this team has been able to do? They've been able to string together some hits. They've been able to have some quality pitching. What are your thoughts about some of the things that they had taking place? Because last week when they were, losing, during one of the press conferences, I talked about it last week, one of the reporters did ask, Franmil Reyes, like, what's up with this team? Why can't they hit the ball? And Franmil was saying, well, we can't hit the ball, even though clearly they had not been able to hit the ball. So past couple games, they've been able to string together some stuff. What are your thoughts about how the Indians have been looking as of late?
So this is just typical Cleveland baseball, right? We're streaky. We're going to lose a bunch in a row, and then all of a sudden they start winning a bunch in a row. And they're also famous around here for rising and falling to the level of their competition. So Detroit took it to them in the opening series of the season. And I don't care how bad the Tigers are. I don't know if they've won a game since then, but I'm scared about this series because that's what we do, right? We play a really bad team and we play really poorly. So we'll just have to see. The pitching's got to hold out. It can't just be hitting. And that's what we did that first week or two of the season is either you had hitting or you had pitching. We couldn't get both. We've had both for about a week now, which means they're both about to go away. It's just how we do.
Yeah.
It's too early in the season, and I could throw cliches out like you can't win the pennant in April, but you can lose it and all that kind of stuff. They just need to stay 500 till we get to May.
Yeah, but
they can find a way to stay 500, then I'll feel better about my summer.
Yeah, but it's good to, get out to this hot start right now, even though it's against the Detroit Tigers. Like you said, that opening series, the Indians did not look good at all. They had issues being able to hit the ball, even the pitching, taking what appeared to be a step back out of.
But Detroit's here, right?
Yeah, Detroit was here. So
we had a beautiful day on Saturday, and the weather's about to, we may not hit 60 again for another week. And I feel like that favors us a little bit with the crappy weather. I mean, Detroit gets the same weather we get, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to play in crappy weather, at least you get to go home at the end of the night, not to just some random hotel.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the crappy weather will play in our favor. I'm just also hoping we don't have to deal with a lot of rain delays and that kind of stuff. This week is just not going to be a good week for baseball.
Willie, I want to get your thoughts about overall. I know you're a baseball guy, so I want to get your thoughts overall about the Cleveland Indians. We are known for our pitching, but what can we do, in order to truly be able to compete in this Central Division and possibly make the playoffs with what we got going on right now as far as our team goes?
Well, I think for most teams like the Indians and even the A's, which is my favorite team, when you have these players that that nobody really expects a lot of, that's when you can really find out what a team is made of, and you can have an MVP come out of off of a team like that. And I believe that for Cleveland, I think the Chicago White Sox are easily the most talented team in the division. And you guys tomorrow, oh my gosh, Shane Bieber and Lucas Giolito, they're going to be going at it.
Tonight, Tristan McKenzie, get on mound, so it's a good opportunity to see him as well.
Yeah, and I think for them offensively, they showed that they could hit on Sunday. So I believe that Ramirez is going to really have to lead the charge. He's going to have an MVP type of year, even more so than he did last year, in order for them to have a chance offensively. And like you said, Cleveland Kate, if the pitching can just hold up enough, and I know Bieber lost his first outing and his ERA is like around 3.4 or whatever it is. I think he's going to round into shape. The Indians are going to be better than the people than the fans think. And I actually posted this on my Twitter page, and I tagged a bunch of people there in Cleveland. Hey, you guys are going to be better than you think. And then somebody said, "Well, it's early." Well, you only play the people that's in front of you, and you either win or lose. So what would you rather do?
I'd rather win.
There you go.
I'll tell you, the fan base here is very emotional. And the day that Francisco Lindor left, everybody was just like, it's going to be a bad season. It's going to be a terrible season. We're not going to do anything. And in a way, that's fine with me because that takes a little bit of pressure off the team. Those expectations have been lowered, that now as soon as they get in another win streak and everyone's all of a sudden happy, then it's, Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Final. Like as soon as we win 3 more games, those people who thought we were going to be terrible are all going to be like, I'm buying my World Series tickets because that's how we do. We're like a woman. There's that time of the month when our emotions run crazy, and that's especially on Twitter. Cleveland fans on Twitter are emotionally psychotic. I love us, but that's how we do.
Well, the loss of Frankie was something that, is very, very hard. And we recognize, how much of a team leader he, was for us. So I think, having to adjust to something like that, it just takes some getting used to because we always lose our good players. And, we just kind of get tired of it. Some of these players endear themselves to us and they want to come here and then, they're gone. And it was, like that. And we had some very good years with Frankie, making the playoffs. So, that's been important.
And it's easy. It was some of them, the ones in the past for me were easier, like when it was a pitcher. Because it was only once every 5 days that I had to worry about the effect of who the new guy was stepping up.
Exactly.
But when you lose someone who's your shortstop, who's the anchor, the center of that defense. And now you've got, your guys at first, second, and third, and even your pitchers have to figure out who's going to replace him. What's he going to do? What are his tendencies? Do I know he's going to throw to me? Do I guess if he's going to throw it? Like, you've got to figure that chemistry out. And so I knew the beginning of the season was going to be a little rocky. I thought eventually Tito, with his experience, would get us through it. but I was just as depressed as everybody else after that first series. And then Kansas City, we only won one of those games against the Royals. I was just like, oh, this is going to be so bad. Because again, that's how we do. But now I'm more even keeled, and I'm like, all right, let's give them a little more time. They're finding their way. They're figuring out their identity now. They'll get it through. There'll be some baseball worth watching. And at some point, that's really all you can hope for is it baseball worth watching? Unlike the basketball team here in town, I can't watch. It hurts my stomach. It makes me physically ill. I can't even watch it anymore. At least the baseball I can watch.
And before we get to that, we're going to have to take a break really quickly. And then, unfortunately, we're going to have to do a little bit of talk that's going to make you a little ill. But I also want to talk about James Karanchak and his posting about vaccines. So we're going to be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
So Cleveland Kate, do I follow you on Twitter?
I don't think so.
Well, we need to change that.
CLVLNDK, the number 8. And then I write, I cover the AFC North and the NFC South for a website called Our Turf Football.
Mm-hmm.
It's owned by women, run by women. There's 4 of us. We got a girl who lives in Ann Arbor, one in Kansas City, one in Miami, and me, and we each cover 2 of the NFL divisions.
Okay.
So if you ever need a female to talk sports, grab one of us. We do podcasts, guest spots on podcasts all the time.
Okay. Yeah, we wow, that's so amazing. Okay, let me find you. You said
CLVLNDK, the number 8. My avatar will be my Browns tattoo.
Okay, I can't type today. Say it for me one more time. Say it for me one more time.
CLVLNDK, the number 8. It's Cleveland without any vowels.
Okay, there it is.
Because on Wheel of Fortune, you got to buy those for $2.50. Rachel,
Right.
Don't put your finger up at me. Willie and I are gonna have a conversation. People in the stream yard can hear us. That's fine. We're not discussing top secret stuff here.
Okay. Okay. I'm hitting the follow button right now. So
okay,
you can follow.
I'll follow you back.
That'd be great.
Because I am a follow back girl.
Yeah. I do these follow trains with people sometimes. And sometimes, I mean, a lot of times they just I don't know what they're doing, but I see you have like almost 8,000 followers. Golly. Or 7,300.
I'm a girl who can talk sports. I was close to 8, and then Twitter did one of those things where they clear out all the bots and get rid of the inactive people, and my numbers drop. And then in a couple months, when we're in football season, it goes crazy just because I tweet more during football season.
Right.
Just because that's my main sport, football and boxing. But
okay, yeah, definitely. I will definitely love to have you on sometime.
All right.
Definitely. I see the Cleveland Browns helmet tattoo.
Yeah, I promised if Baker Mayfield won 3 games.
Hold on, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl,
so I did.
Rachel Hill, the first lady of sports. And that is Cleveland Kane. We'll have a conversation.
Quit laughing. We're talking about my tattoo, Rachel. You know about my tattoo.
So y'all can hear each other because I can't hear y'all.
Yeah.
While I'm running commercials. Oh, okay, cool. Because I know y'all probably just look at like, why she look crazy like that, but I can't hear y'all at all. So she was telling me about how she tatted up and stuff like that. She's committed. I told you about that. I was like, I love my co-host.
Brown shirt today.
Or maybe she needs to be committed. Maybe that's it.
Maybe what?
Maybe she needs to be committed.
Yeah.
Who,
that's
me?
what my daughters say.
No.
Oh, well.
I got the joke. Rachel.
Yeah, that's why I was like, committed to what?
I have 4 daughters, and they all say that all the time. I'm just crazy. Yeah, especially when one of their friends finds out who I am on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh my God, your mom's Cleveland Kate." They're like, "Yeah."
Yes.
None of them love sports like I do, but they can all talk sports. Because I will tell you, when they were teenagers, they were like, "Mom, I go on these dates with these guys, and it's so awkward." I'm like, "You need to pay attention to sports. You need to be able to talk about it." They're like, "I don't really like it." I'm like, "I didn't say you had to like it, But if you're watching a basketball game, you don't just say, is that a touchdown? You need to know that they're not outfits, they're uniforms. You need to know what the basic rules are. You need to be able to sit through a game because the guys are nervous and they don't know what to talk to you about. So if you can at least listen and participate a little bit in a conversation about what the Indians did last night, it will go a long way to helping them relax and having a nice date. And so
Wow.
my girls can all talk sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like something you got to know. But neither one of my sisters like sports either. But I grew up a tomboy though, so it's sports is life. And I was my dad's son, and I was like, I didn't know I was a girl until I hit puberty. So that's when I figured it out and kind of got into my own things then. But yeah, I was a tomboy. But my mother never had an issue with putting a dress on me for some reason. I love dresses and skirts, and I'm like, I could throw a touchdown in the dress. Don't play with me. But I wanted to finish up this Indians talk. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts about James Karanchak and his anti-vaccination post, in which he pretty much referenced one of the Nazi war criminals and talking about anti-vaccination. So the Indians was able to get 85% of their traveling party vaccinated, but James Karanchak refused, and he quite. What are you guys' thoughts about the refusal of the vaccination, and also referencing a Nazi war criminal? I don't have any issue with somebody not choosing to get vaccinated, but then when you try to implement a Nazi person in some of the reasons why, that's where the problem lies. So pretty much that was deleted immediately, and the Indians did have a talk with him about it. What are your guys' thoughts about that?
I actually didn't see it. So I will say this though. You can't bring in a historical thing that has had such a negative income or output or outcome on the world into anything like that. I will say that.
I will say this, and I've seen it with the friends of some of my children. My kids range in age from 28 to 34. When they feel strongly about something and you ask them why and they can't articulate why, they will go Google search historic quotes to back up their opinion. And they don't always understand the historical reference of the person who said it. So there's a part of me who thinks he had no clue who this guy was. He just found a quote that backed up what he wanted to say. And then as soon as he posted it, people were like, oh, dude, no, you don't know what you just did. Because I have to believe he didn't know who that guy was. I can't believe anyone would be that stupid, although maybe, to think that it was ever, for any reason, a good idea to quote a Nazi. It's just not okay. So I'm going to give him a pass on being a young and being an idiot as far as that goes. But I just get frustrated with some of these people who are against the vaccine. A third of Ohio has gotten it done, and life is just not going to get back to normal until more people, get over whatever there's no conspiracy theories. I'm just not. I believe there are aliens. There are some conspiracy theories I am totally down with, not the medical ones. It's just, I don't get it. So I just think there's too many people who want to struggle against something. And so this is the thing they're picking to struggle against. Listen, I'll give you a list of things to fight about. Let's talk about, getting equal pay for the women's soccer team. Let's talk about Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about, my struggles in a company run by a bunch of rich old white men. There are plenty of social issues that people can go out and take a stand on and comment on and try to help change. Arguing about a vaccine just seems like a pitiful thing for me to watch someone waste time, energy, and money on. There are bigger issues.
Unnecessarily. And then, it isn't the first time I guess he's had some Twitter issues. So, maybe he needs to put down the phone and work on his pitching a little bit and stay away from controversial things, because everything, shouldn't have a comment on it because of who you are. It's going to be taken to a different direction. So, maybe this is a learning opportunity for him as well.
Here's what Twitter needs to do. They need to set it up so that these professional teams can have a Twitter admin, and anything you want to tweet immediately goes to drafts. And then there's a person from the team who looks at it and decides whether or not to send it. Because I would take a parental lock like that. Like if my kids were under 18, I would absolutely sign up for a parental lock where anything they want to tweet goes to drafts, and I get to approve it before it goes out there.
I think you're gonna run into some freedom of speech arguments with that, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. But you're gonna run into that, I'm sure.
But you could put some language in a professional athlete's contract because they already have behavioral clauses and all that other kind of stuff. You can't conduct unbecoming the team kind of things. And you could make it, because I know people who work for the Indians at the stadium, like not for the team, like as like in the concessions, in the ushering and stuff, and they are not allowed on their social media to mention baseball, to talk about baseball, good, bad, or indifferent. There are people who look at their social media accounts and they're put on there are strict rules of conduct, and these are people that just usher you to your seats. So there might be, if they could come up with the technology for it, and I'm sure they can. If my grandkids can't watch whatever they want on cable because I have parental locks on my TV, there has to be some way that they could set up something on Twitter for professional teams or some kind of organizations that want to have control of their people. Because then you could I'll set up a Twitter account called Strawberry Shortcake, and they wouldn't even know it was me, and then I could still have my freedom of speech.
I love Strawberry Shortcake, by the way. But yeah, like
the cartoon or the food.
Both. That was my girl. Okay. But you run into that issue of this is a public health crisis, and people are looking to athletes to get this vaccine and get it publicized. Like when Elvis got the vaccine, that was a big deal back then. I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was a polio vaccination or what have you, but I know there was another day when we talked about they wanted LeBron to get the vaccine publicly because of the hesitancy in the Black community of getting this vaccine, and LeBron was against doing it publicly, and he liked it as a private health matter. And I get that. It's like we put so much on LeBron and we ask so much of him. I don't feel like we have a right to ask him to get it in public, and I kind of get it. Whoever wants to get this vaccine and publicize it, I think it should be on them. I don't think we should push people to do it publicly because we're not asking anybody else to do it publicly. The president, I think, lead by example, but, you just get into a slippery slope like that. So, I just wish that if he refused to get the vaccine, that he didn't do it publicly in that way. And, these athletes make their choice instead of, attaching something political to it when it's a public health crisis and people are looking up to these athletes to do the right thing and lead the way. So, I'm fine with him refusing to get it. Just don't do it publicly and influence other people, because there are younger players, younger people looking up to you and taking in what you're saying, and they're not going to get the vaccine because of that and what you quoted, when, it's about saving lives at this point, because you don't have fans in the stands because of this virus. You're about to take a pay cut because the effects of this virus. So this virus has shaped every living thing, everything we abide by in this world. So if anything, like Cleveland's Kate said, we got to get this thing stopped, and we got to get life back to normal, for all of us. And looks like we got to take another break, man. That was really, really quick. But, when we come back, I want to talk about, the Cleveland Cavaliers very briefly. I know Kate is a little mad. Yeah, they did, just lose two big, huge games in a row when they had a quality win over the Spurs in San Antonio. But, came back and laid 2 eggs. And then I want to talk about this Jadeveon Clowney thing because, I'm kind of, I feel some type of way about it. So we're going to talk about it when we come back.
It's just smoke. Don't feel no kind of way about nothing. It's just smoke. Don't buy it. Don't get hooked.
I don't know what to believe. When it come to men and Willie, what y'all want to do, what y'all talking about, and all that other stuff. We don't get y'all. So we're gonna take a break right quick. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Oh geez. I need to get some water.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with my girl, Cleveland Kate, and Willie Epstein from the Shake Back Sports Show. And I got him on the line with me today, and I just wanted to move to the Cleveland Cavaliers really quickly because it's kind of a few different things that happen in the sports world. Willie, get your outside perspective about the Cleveland Cavaliers. What do you think about this team, man? Any positives? Because here in Cleveland, we are not seeing any. What are you seeing from the outside looking in?
You better try to figure out how to get LeBron back. And I don't know.
Not happening.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But look, this is all of the makings of a young team because you have Anthony Edwards, man. He's leading. I'm sorry, not Anthony Edwards. Colin Sexton leading the charge there. Obviously, he was a high draft pick, and then they got the other draft pick last year. The kid from Vanderbilt, I can't think of his name right now, but
Darius Garland. Yeah,
so definitely a rebuilding type of a situation in Cleveland. And all I can tell you guys is this: keep your chin up.
That makes it easier for people to hit you.
Well, that means you can take a punch, though. So you guys,
I could take a charge. I don't know that I could take a punch.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to take some punches.
Rachel, what do we got? 3 years till Bronny's in the draft. Because that's what I'm betting on.
Yeah, but even we don't know if that's good enough. I mean, LeBron was a generational type talent, and it's even
generation.
It's like who's going to supersede him? Because we had some right in a row where we had MJ. I don't feel like Kobe was a generational talent like LeBron is. Yeah, I said it, Willie. You looking at me like I'm crazy. Not like LeBron. There's not been anybody like LeBron. And now I'm waiting for the next one. So, hopefully his son can fill that role. I don't know. What are your thoughts about JB Bickerstaff, Willie?
I don't know really. He look, he comes from a pedigree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing that he has in his favor. I think that for the Cavs, man, look, you're gonna have to get some wise people that know basketball and that know talent. A coach can only get so much out of his players. So talent still wins in the NBA at the end of the day. So I think it's kind of unfair to judge a coach on having bottom of the barrel type talent. Yeah, easy for me to say. So yeah, if they can get some more viable talent in there, then we'll see.
Yeah, that's very true, and I am in agreement as well because it doesn't matter what coach you have if the talent isn't there. So we will see where it goes. Cleveland Kate, any thoughts on the Cavs? I kind of know how you feel, but any parting thoughts before we move on to this Jadeveon Clowney mess?
You know how I feel about this situation, right?
I do.
I have been incredibly let down by the job that Bickerstaff has done. I expected so much more from him. I understand you're only as good as your talent, and I understand that you can't teach height, and it doesn't help that we ain't got no big. But I expected more development from Colin Sexton, like the inconsistency of their play, the inconsistency from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. It's just, to me, a lot of that is conditioning and coaching, and I've just not been happy this year. I just expected more.
But Colin really is the main talent you got, though. Who else gonna put up some points? Colin is it. So it's almost like you got to take the good and you got to take the bad.
But it's the inconsistency. You talked about that win against the Spurs, and then the way they played the last two nights. I could have picked 5 guys off a playground in Cleveland, and they would have put up more of a fight than they put up last night.
You didn't even need 5 guys. I could have been one of the people. You didn't even need 5 guys. I could have been one of the people.
I'm just saying. I don't mentally. They don't play for all 4 quarters. There's just some issues that I see that are the intangibles, the things that are on the side of talent. Talent, yes.
I mean,
there's all these other things that you should be getting coached on.
They know they suck too. Go out.
They make the same mistakes over and over again. That's coaching.
So what y'all think about Kyrie?
3-point shot selection is terrible. I think they have the worst percentage in the league. Their choices on when to do that is terrible, and that's coaching. How you don't fix that, I don't know. You made me say it. You made me go there, Rachel.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for. To tell the truth, give it raw, real, and uncut. I mean, that's
Get
what
me
we're
in
here
trouble with the
for.
Cavaliers. All right, that's cool. I see how
I
you
mean, there's a lot of analysts in trouble with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then, if that's it. But what do y'all think about Kyrie acting like he was going to get into a fight with Dennis Schroeder, getting ejected, and now he's out for personal reasons?
I mean,
Kyrie ain't about to fight nobody.
how many personal days do you get in these?
That's what somebody said. How much PTO
You know what I
time
want
do
to
you
see?
get in
I want
the
to see
NBA?
every time Kyrie's on the court. I want to see them little birds they do around your head when you're crazy in the cartoons. Because I know Rachel. I know you love him and you got nothing but love for him. And I try not to say bad things about him.
Only because he won a title. I'm still mad he left.
Kyrie needs a mental health advocate and someone to just sit down and give him a hug, tell him it's not whatever it is he needs. He needs to get his head on right because it ain't been on right for a while.
I mean, I'm just good that he gave us a title. I'm okay, but
maybe,
yeah.
Maybe he's thinking the world is flat still.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'm telling you. I feel bad because that is a situation that I compare a lot to the Josh Gordon ones for different reasons, but it's a talent that is so wasted.
But we don't know if Kyrie is on drugs.
Watch than Kyrie Irving in a game when he is on his point. And the way he's been playing lately, it just makes me sad because he's capable of so much more. And it is such a waste of a gift that God gave him that it just makes me sad.
Josh Gordon was on drugs. We don't know what the deal is.
But again, he wasted the talent he had. He couldn't get the right help that he needed. He couldn't let his off the field or off the court or off the diamond issues. They kept getting in the way. And there is a talent there that, again, when Josh Gordon was right and there was nothing prettier than watching him run around and take it to the house. So when it's someone with that kind of talent wastes it, I feel bad for all those guys out there who are running and sweating and bleeding to try to get in, and they don't have the talent to do it, but they have the drive and they're trying so hard, and they would kill for 1/10 of the talent that these guys waste. It is such a shame because they're capable of so much more. And as a fan, that's what I want to see. No matter what team Kyrie's playing for, I want to see him playing at his best because it is really beautiful to watch, and it has not been for a while now.
So tonight, pretty much all major league sports have been canceled in the city of Minneapolis because of another police-involved killing there. So once again, these things translate into the sports world, and the sports world is stopping. Yeah, so the Timberwolves canceled. Yeah, pretty much every sport. So the Twins, they postponed their games because of expected civil unrest. So once again, life has weaved itself into sports. People say, sports are becoming political. No, it's about human rights. And I'm glad that, they are making the right decision by doing this. I mean, I doubt, stuff's going to happen at the stadium, but I think, they are showing solidarity that something has to change. What are you guys' thoughts about pretty much all the teams say we're not going tonight? We're going to take tonight off.
Well, you have to, right? Why would you encourage a large group of people to gather somewhere that could be a target for something? So you shut it down. It's the right call. You shut it all down.
Yeah, and I'm going to come at it from a different perspective because unfortunately it has been politicized, and political figures that are in a different mindset of those that look at these things that are wrong, unequal, just a travesty and should not be happening. They're the ones that are saying, look, you guys need to stick to sports. Okay, we're people first. And we see our people out here getting gunned down in the streets. No, it's not about sports. It ain't about politics. It's about being a human. And for you to tell me to shut up and dribble or go get in the huddle and call the play, you're disrespecting me as a person, number one. So I understand the safety precautions that these franchises may be taking, the Minnesota Wild, the Timberwolves, as well as the Twins. But their statements all pretty much mirror the same thing in the fact that they don't want to show any disrespect or any downplay, for the lack of a better word, the events that took place up there. And they've decided to use this as a platform to continue to speak out on these things that keep happening to us.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy that before we got on the air, there was a school shooting in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, at least one person is reported dead. So, the world is just, going to a handbasket right now. So, sports intertwines with all of that. And, as you said, Willie, to shut up and dribble, it's like you can entertain us, but you can't plead for your humanity, being a human being. And, if those athletes, hadn't been able to get out of their situations, a lot of them would be having those interactions with the police. And some of them have. And some of them, I forgot the one player, was it with the New York Giants? And there was a basketball player, I think maybe in Milwaukee, who have had those altercations with police. So,
well, Kyle Korver wrote that article a couple years ago when he found out what had happened to one of his teammates. He's like, I didn't realize it was going on, and then by not saying anything about it, I was perpetuating it. I was letting it continue. Willie, Rachel and I talked either last week or the week before about baseball pulling the All-Star game out of Atlanta and how great I think that is. And that's how you need to flex your muscle as a corporation, whether you're a sports corporation, a pop corporation, a hamburger from whatever. As a corporation, you have a responsibility to your employees and to your customers to make the world a better place for them. And so I have nothing but applause for them pulling that stuff out of Atlanta. And I have no problem with athletes expressing an opinion about issues, especially, issues that affect them and their communities and in my community. And so I think it's wonderful. And anytime I hear someone say basically shut up and dribble, I tell them to shut up and go sit down somewhere because stop.
Mm-hmm. Well, what does the song say? The song says to make this place make this world a better place for you and for me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Michael Jackson, heal the world.
Not the person singing it saying, if I'm singing it to you, Cleveland K, or to you, Rachel, I'm going to make the world better for me, but not you. Yeah. And that's what shut up and dribble sounds like to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and deal with it. So we got to take a commercial, another break. Sorry, not a commercial break, but another break. Time is passing fast, man, with y'all. So we're gonna take our last break, and then we finally gonna get into this Jadeveon Clowney, talk about the win that took place at the Masters. How about that?
Can we talk about A-Rod? I want to talk about.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that when we come back too, because I think that's a pretty big deal as well. So we're gonna be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
And I'm going to do when I hang up with you guys, I'm going to do my baseball show for the week. And I'm going to spend the entire segment because I didn't do an episode last week, but I'm going to spend the entire first segment about that Georgia them moving the game from Atlanta to Denver. I'm going to talk about that in the whole first segment. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stream it. So y'all make sure y'all check it out.
I will. Absolutely will.
This is fun. This is so much fun. And she says time is flying. That's because we're having so much fun.
It is. Well, and I was surprised at some of the Twitter reaction to them moving it because I actually saw people making comments that baseball players weren't black, that they're brown. And I'm like, they're people of color. Some of you white people need to shut up and sit down because you have no clue and you don't care and you won't take responsibility for the fact that you could be changing things and you're not.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't feel guilty about that. I didn't do nothing wrong. I said, I didn't ask you to feel guilty. I told you to feel responsible.
And there's a difference right there.
Well, and here's how it was explained to me once. I have a friend who's 6'5", and he says, if I go into a grocery store and there's a 5-foot tall woman in there who can't reach the cereal on the top row, I don't feel guilty because it's not my fault that she can't reach it, but I feel a responsibility to just reach up and grab a box and hand it to her. It don't cost me nothing. And so there's a difference. And that's the easiest way for me to explain it to people. I don't feel guilty because I'm white, but I do feel a responsibility that whenever I have an opportunity to talk about issues or to do something to help somebody, don't cost me nothing to say something, to extend my power, what limited power I have, because I'm still a woman. But it's still a very, very, I don't feel a life or death issue over my being a woman. Right. I just feel I get some discrimination, but it's not, I couldn't even imagine some of the things Rachel has told me, and just driving in Cleveland and getting pulled over and her fear of things. They had silent alarm go off at the radio station one night, and the police came to the door, and Rachel was afraid to answer the door because she didn't know what was going on because she didn't hear the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even begin to imagine what that is like. I can't. So all I can do is try to educate the people that I know that this is a real problem. It's still going on. It hasn't gone away. Quit telling people to shut up, because when they stop talking about it, that's when people start to think it's okay, and it's not okay.
I think that may be two things that you just said that may be a bit of a hang up. And the first one is not feeling guilty because people can want to do the right thing, or they can want to do something to change, but they may be so guilt ridden they don't know they become paralyzed. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was that fear factor is real. It is really, really real. And it's look, I've had it happen to me, with my sons in the car. I'm trying to teach one how to drive. I get racially profiled. We get racially profiled by a black cop. I'm like, really?
I can't imagine it. And I've heard so many stories, and I can't put myself in those shoes. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. You know what I mean? I'm not, because I've heard other people just say things like
95.9 feminist, the girl Rachel Hill, first lady of sports. And that was Clemens K's voice who you heard just come back. So yeah, sorry about that. I know you guys are having a good talk. I'm like, I wish I could join in, but I gotta do what I gotta do and make sure we keep the show running and stuff like that. So one of the things that, do you guys want to talk about A-Rod first, or do you want to move to the Cleveland Browns and what we're gonna do with Jadeveon Clowney? Well, let's say what A-Rod, since, we were just talking about basketball, and he is part of the new ownership of the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Lynx as well. What are you guys' thoughts about a former player buying a team? And LeBron just, a couple weeks ago made an announcement that he was part of the Boston Red Sox franchise. And also, he purchased part of Manchester United as well a couple years ago. So he's been involved with that. And then also, Magic is, one of the owners of the Dodgers. So what are you guys' thoughts about, these former athletes getting in here and purchasing some of these teams?
Pat Mahomes bought into the Royals, didn't he?
Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me.
Contract from the Chiefs. I loved that one just because I felt like the fans of the Chiefs were fronting him that pay money, and he used it to reinvest in that same community that he bought into the baseball team that in his area. I thought was amazing. I think we need more minority ownership in all of these professional teams. We need ownership to reflect the employees in every company. And so this is, for me, in a way, this is from a business standpoint, it's just another example of that. Yeah.
And also Jay-Z, well, it looks like he sold his stake. So I just Googled that. I thought he was still a part owner, but no. And then I think Usher, even though the Cavs are trash, Usher is still part owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So,
yeah,
so even though he's not an athlete, but he's not a former athlete. But
I think to piggyback on what Kate said about the minority owners is if you look at it from a totality standpoint, it is minorities taking things or taking control of things. So if you want to tell us to shut up and dribble, okay, fine. Then we're gonna say to you, or we're gonna shut up, but we're gonna go and run this team, or we're gonna go and buy a part of this team. And you have Derek Jeter down in Miami with the Marlins. You have Patrick Mahomes, like you guys stated, in Kansas City. You have Magic. Magic's been part of the Dodgers ownership for I don't know how long. Mm-hmm. And it's only going to continue to grow. I know LeBron is looking for billionaire status, and he's going to get there probably tomorrow or the next day with the way. But yeah. I think it's phenomenal. And for A-Rod, I mean, I know the thing fell through with him and J-Lo buying the Mets. They probably didn't want to do that anyway.
And they broke up now too, so that was a good thing.
Yeah, and the thing too with them buying with him and the other guy, I forgot his name. I think his name is Lore or something like that.
Yeah.
They want to get that team to Seattle. They want to get that team to Seattle.
So you think they bought it just to move it?
Well, you got to think A-Rod spent his formidable years as a Mariner. That city is a great basketball town. back to 2008 when they left there and went to Kansas City. All you new schoolers out there need to understand that the Oklahoma City Thunder is the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, but why not just create
Willie,
two
here's
new
what I gotta
teams?
tell Rachel. Rachel, how many lakes they got in LA?
How many lakes in LA?
Because they used to be in Minnesota. There ain't no Jazz in Utah. These teams didn't start out where they are, okay? They've been moving around forever, and these kids don't know their history. They don't know where these teams came from. Seattle needs a basketball team.
And Kate, there are no Grizzlies in Memphis either.
There are not.
Yeah,
and frankly, there shouldn't be hockey in a place that doesn't have snow. But that's
like
just
Tampa,
another
Tampa.
No.
And they just won the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Seattle, with its weather and the rain and everything else, is the perfect city for an NBA team that plays all its games indoors.
Well, why take them from Minnesota? Why not just give them a new franchise?
That's some business stuff that I'm not qualified to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 new franchises, expand the league. They're making a ton of money hand over fist.
They should expand the league because so I have OCD and I'm a huge data geek. I'm a data analyst in my day job, and I love
analytics.
I'm a little OCD in my numbers. Like, I like even numbers. I like numbers that are divisible by 4. And 32 is the perfect number of teams to have in a sport, because then you can have 2 conferences of 16, and then you can do your divisions of 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. And this 30-team leagues are making me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're making me crazy. So I'm gonna need a couple more baseball teams. I'm gonna need a couple more basketball teams. Then we'll be good.
I agree. So, hats off to them. I would hope that they would keep the teams there. And, the NBA just needs to look into expanding the league and, keeping teams where they're at. I just think that's the best way to do it. Go ahead and get them a team there and just do that. Look at Vegas. You can go Seattle, Vegas now. Since Vegas, they have the summer league there. They already have, a good, pointing to the Raiders, but they have a football team there. They have a hockey team, which is successful. So, go ahead and give them a basketball team, because you have summer league there already. You have high participation and quality ratings. Give them a basketball team and give the Seattle a team and problem solve. So we got 5 minutes left. You guys, what is Kate? I'm gonna ask you, what is up with this fascination with Jadeveon Clowney, Andrew Berry? I need y'all to tell me what's going on, because I don't understand the point. He already turned us down. He didn't want to be with us. Why are we going chasing back after him? And he turned down the most money. We offered him the most money. He turned us down. Why are we sniffing behind him again?
I don't know. How come girls go back to boys that treat them bad? How come guys chase after girls who turned them down 6 times already? How come people get remarried after they've been divorced? Some people are just emotionally a mess. He said no. We should have said, okay, nice talking to you. Walk away. Walk away. Don't look back.
Yeah, he didn't even play half the season.
He didn't, and he hasn't lived up to his potential either. And frankly, the best way to get revenge is a life lived well. So if you don't want to play here, that's fine. We'll get someone else to come play here. We'll go win the Super Bowl, and then I'll have a little sign that I'll hold up that says, see, Clowney, you could have been part of this, and you chose to say no. Bye-bye.
Wow.
No second chances. You're gone.
Wow.
I don't know why we're asking him again. I'm hardcore. I don't know why we even had a second conversation with him. I wouldn't have had the first one. I feel like he's too selfish a player to compliment Myles Garrett the way he needs to be complimented on the field. I don't think it would have worked. So I'm perfectly fine with him not being here. I do not like the air of desperation that we're going after him again. No, stop it. Because we're not the team that has to overpay anymore. We're not the joke of the league. The media wants to keep bringing up the fumble and the drive and all that business. But we went to the playoffs. We won 2 playoff games, right? We should have won. We didn't. We should have won that Kansas City game. That's okay. We're young. We're learning. We'll get there. I think we learned more from that loss than we would have learned from a win in that situation. We're getting there. We're a destination now. We're an up-and-coming team. We're a destination. You don't want to be here, that's fine. We'll find someone who does. And he'll be younger and cheaper and better.
We will learn more from that win. Forget that. There's no more victories. There's nothing to be learned from the loss. We would have learned more from that win. Willie, what are your thoughts about, this ongoing saga with, Jadeveon Clowney and the Browns?
Well, Clowney, I think there's some sort of fascination with him and Myles Garrett in the fact that they kind of look like similar players, and they know what they have with Myles Garrett. And I heard somebody say on Monday about putting Garrett and Clowney on opposite of each other. Well, they said, well, what if you put them on the same side? Okay, but the thing is that Clowney has been more prolific as a run stopper than he has been a pass rusher, which is why he was drafted number 1 overall back in the day. And I think the hit that he put on that poor running back from Michigan in that, I think it was in the Citrus Bowl back in the day. I think, look, that was the hit that was heard around the world, but that has really been his biggest highlight since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just, I think, he refused us, and it's one of those situations. I equate it with like Ray Allen coming when the Cavs won that title, and all of a sudden Ray Allen wanted to come visit, even though he had been a free agent and didn't want anything to do. Now that we're winning, leave us alone. I think, like Kay said, we are on the up and up. We are a franchise that people want to come to, people are happy to re-sign with, and people didn't see the value in that. They don't, like Mike Jones said, they don't want us. We was terrible, and they didn't want to be bothered with us, and now we're doing good. And now, here people come. So, I'm just...
See, here's my thing with Clowney now. If we're going to talk comparisons, to me, it's like when we had Kyrie and LeBron. Kyrie don't want to be second fiddle to nobody else. Kyrie's going to go somewhere else and run the show. Clowney will be second fiddle to Myles Garrett every time he steps on the field, and he don't want to do that.
Yeah. 1 minute left. So Will, want to thank you so much. A little bit of sweet justice with the Masters. Hideki Matsuyama won it. So even though they didn't pull the Masters out of, Georgia, because it's white, there was a minority that actually won, and an Asian minority. So I look at it as a little bit of poetic justice. Willie, want to thank you so much. You got, and Cleveland Kate, as always, thank you so much. Hope you guys had a good time. That time passed really quickly, and you have been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We out of here.
Bye.